I forgot water. Am I gonna get up and get it? I suppose dehydration is preferable to movement. Who am I kidding? I gotta go get water. I'm already thirsty. Success. I come to you barefaced today because I think that it's finally time for me to declutter my makeup collection, and I'm gonna make like a little spring capsule makeup bag of all of my go-to products. Now, in order for it to meet the criteria of something that will go into my makeup bag, it has got to be something that I just naturally reach for, and when I do, I like my makeup. I'm gonna explain a little bit about why I've avoided decluttering my makeup collection in the past and why I think it's a good time now for me to do it. But first I'm gonna get started with my makeup because otherwise we'll be here all day. This is the first thing that's going into the makeup bag. It's the iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. As you can see, I'm almost finished with it. I got this on like a 50% off deal at Sephora and I like it, but I'm not sure that I would pay the full price for it. So that's going in, and then once I finish that one, I'll be adding in the MAC Strobe Cream. This is the shade Pink Light. Let's add a little bit now. I got this one in particular because I'm gonna be doing my friend's makeup at the end of May. It's coming up quick for her wedding. Forgot to mention that part. Just applying this to the places where I want that extra glow, just all around. Just adds a little bit of grip to the skin and leaves that nice glowy finish. Next, I'm gonna add in the MAC Face and Body. I have the shade In One. I have repurchased this over and over. Swung for the big bottle, no regrets. This is just the most versatile and skin-like foundation that I've ever come across. And I think it is very much personal preference. I mean, all makeup things are. Most non-essential things in life are. For me, I really like a foundation with a thin consistency. And this is so thin, almost watery. And it does have a buildable coverage if you need it. I'm gonna be using this on my friend as well. I've used it on all of the bridal makeup that I've done, just because it's hard to mess up. That's important for a wedding day. So that's the base. Again, the consistency is so thin, it's a treat. Some people have expressed some difficulty in using this. I find that if you work it between your fingers first until it starts to get a little bit tacky and then apply it to your face, that can help a lot, especially if you're looking for higher coverage. I debated adding in this Pixi On The Glow base. It's a foundation stick. I have the shade Cream. I might just add it in for the fun of it. We're not going to apply much today though. This is really for when the MAC Face and Body runs out. Right now I'm just using it to add a little bit of lightness to the center of my face. Next, for my powder, I'm going to add in this Clinique Beyond Perfecting Powder Foundation. I have the shade Breeze. Got a little bit of hard pan in it the other day because I was a silly goose and I tried to use a wet foundation brush on it. I just couldn't wait after I washed my brushes. I go for this powder when I want to add just a little bit more coverage while also mattifying. I typically use whatever's left on the brush on my forehead. And then in terms of setting powder, I'm going to put in this Rimmel Stay Matte. It's very broken. The top is completely shattered, so I can't actually put it into my makeup bag. I just sit it up on top of my vanity and use it as I need it. But when I'm finished with this one, I'm going to put in the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Powder. So the reason that I felt like I didn't want to declutter in the past was because I had historically struggled with over-consuming in the arena of makeup, and I didn't want to just do a heavy declutter and then feel deprived and immediately go out and over-purchase a bunch of things again. So I just set myself a general rule that I needed to use all of the products in my collection 100 times before I made a decision about them. This is the clear brow gel from Ami Colé. It's going in. Because for me, I had so many things in my makeup collection and I felt really overwhelmed with the idea that I would need to use everything before I could declutter or buy anything new. That just felt like, okay, I'm gonna be using the same products for the next 15 years then. And for some categories, that was probably true. So I felt like the 100 uses was kind of a middle ground where I really would know and understand a product and also get use on the things that I had spent money on, but it just wasn't as overwhelming as needing to finish every single product that I had purchased. Next thing going in the makeup bag is the MAC Eye Kohl in the shade Teddy. I've had this forever. You see how teeny tiny it is? It has lost the cap, so this one also can't go directly in the makeup bag. It sits on top of my dresser. It is my only eyeliner, and when it is done, I will probably repurchase this exact one. As I have gotten older, the thing that probably has changed the most in my makeup routine is my eye situation. My eye application. I used to wear a lot of eyeshadow, but I've kind of steered away from that as I have lost all of this fat here and my eyes have kind of sunk back into my head. My eyes are very deep set, and I find that any sort of darkness added there in the crease, it's most of the time too much, especially for what I like in the everyday. So what I typically do is just a little bit of eyeliner kind of right here on the outer third of my eye. Sometimes I'll do a little flick, sometimes not. It just adds a little bit of depth right there on the lash line. I feel like it suits my eye and it doesn't make me feel too heavy. So this one's going in the bag. When I do want to do a little bit of eyeshadow, I use the MAC Matte Eyeshadow in the shade Cozy Gray. I'll show you what that looks like. It just adds the slightest bit of depth. It's going in the bag. So over the past 2 or 3 years, I have been doing that. I've been keeping track of how much I use my products, and I've been trying not to make any sort of decisions on them until I use them the full amount. And at the same time, I was still purchasing things that I wanted. I've talked about this in previous makeup-focused videos, but I was trying to decrease my makeup collection, but it was always kind of staying steady because the amount that I would use would be the same amount that I would purchase. I was bringing in 30 to 35 things in a year, and I wasn't using more than that. So this past year, I really tried to slow down on my makeup consumption and really just focus on the things that I have. And I didn't end up ever posting my makeup inventory, though I did film it. And I learned from that I only purchased 10 things in 2024. Currently, I'm using the e.l.f. lash extender. I like the e.l.f. mascaras, but generally with mascara, I just avoid anything that is too clumpy or volumizing. I prefer length over volume if I have to choose. I do like a good tubing mascara. I like if it comes in brown. I want it to be easy to remove. These are the things that I look for. I only have one mascara at the moment, so it's going in the bag. So from these past few years of focusing on my makeup consumption and trying to be more intentional with it, I've just noticed my relationship with makeup change. I really know what I like. And the fact that I purchased only 10 things last year, most of which were replacements for things that I'd finished, it really just showed me that kind of hyperfixation that I had on policing my makeup usage and making sure I got the most out of everything that I had purchased, it had done its work. I'm just using the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. Because like I mentioned before, the thing that I was most concerned with is that I would do a big declutter and then just go right out and purchase more. But I haven't been purchasing makeup that way for a long time now. And there are some things in my collection that just don't suit me. And I don't want to make myself use them until they're finished because it means not using other things that I have that do really suit me and that I do really love. The money that I spent on those things is gone. I'm not going to get it back. And as long as I'm not decluttering those items so that I can go on over consuming with makeup, I feel comfortable with letting them go. I have a lot of bronzer that I like and I want to keep, but this is just the current one that I am gravitating towards. It's going in the bag. This is the Laura Mercier Color Infusion blush in the shade Fresco. This is a favorite right now, and it is definitely going in my capsule makeup bag. This is kind of a realization that I had before when I did my big declutter in my closet and kept only my favorite things. I feel like there is so much joy to be gained from just having and using things that you love. And in the very same breath, I think contentment is important. I think it's important to take responsibility for the things that you've purchased in the past. And again, not just declutter willy-nilly. There is a line, and every single person has to find that line for themselves. That is the Clé de Peau concealer in the shade Beige. Cat-like reflexes. Just caught that in midair. You didn't see it, but it happened. This is my only concealer right now, and I'm learning to really love it. Every person has to determine whether they want to use a thing completely up because they purchased it and cultivate a relationship with things that are maybe not automatic loves. Or maybe you might decide that the best thing for you is to get rid of those things. Maybe you learn a lesson the very first time you make a mistake and you know that you're never going to make bad purchases again and you're just going to repeat buy your favorites. So there's no need for you to keep those things around as a reminder. Every person is different. Or maybe you're like me and you sit somewhere in between. I needed to keep those things around for a bit. I needed to learn that lesson again and again for a couple of years, just to be sure that I wasn't just going to turn around and make the same mistake. But now that I feel like the lesson is learned, I'm ready to just have my favorite things. I don't see any benefit of keeping those things around anymore or holding myself hostage to them. Yes, I made poor shopping decisions in the past. I purchased makeup that doesn't flatter me. I purchased makeup that was for someone else, and now I know not to do that anymore. So I want to look really frankly at the things in my makeup collection and just see, am I really using those things? Am I going to use those things? And when I have used them in the past, did I feel good with those things on my face? I'm just ready to take a different lens with this declutter and really be honest with myself about how I feel when I use those things. On my lips, I just put on a ton of things, 4 different things. These are all of the lip products that I would want to keep. Almost. This is the Tower 28 one liner in the shade Work of Art. It really just likes me. Come on. See this. See this, not me. Nope. And then 3 different lipsticks, 1 peachy color, 1 pinky color, and 1 nude. Violet FR Bisou Balm, Trish McAvoy Easy Nude, Pat McGrath Labs Nude Venus. And the last couple things I want to throw in are just blush alternatives and then 1 other lip liner. The blush that's in there is a quite neutral nudie color, so I also want to have a pink. This is the MAC Glow Play blush in the shade Cheeky Devil. This is one of my favorite blushes. Can you tell? I just love it. And then I would also want to have terracotta burnt type of color. This is the M Cosmetics So Soft blush in the shade Pearl Tea. Should we put that one on as well? I have different placements that I like for all of my different blush colors. The nude one I like to keep on this half of my face mostly. The light pink one I like to put on the apples of my cheeks. And then for a terracotta color, I like it right here under the eye, kind of to resemble a sunburn. Is this gonna ruin everything? We'll find out. We will find out. I keep it pretty high, up close to my eye. So those are my 3 blush colors. And then I want to add in 1 more lip liner. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in the shade Iconic Nude. Then last but not least, for good measure, a Burt's Bees. If I only could have 1 lip product in my life, it would be this. And that's been true for 15 years. So that is my makeup bag. It's very full. This is not a minimalist makeup bag by any stretch, but it does all fit in here. And I gave myself variety as well. The things that I'm going to use to replace other things that I have once they're finished are also in here. That was a mouthful. It's very full, but it closes, and that's all that matters to me. Anyway, just trying to settle into my contentment era over here. Come join me. The last little thing that I want to say before I go is that if any part of you is looking at the products that I showed here in this video and thinking, oh, I need that makeup bag, I want to enter my contentment era too. All I need to do is purchase some of those products. Just know that contentment doesn't come from having these specific things or her specific things or that specific brand's things. It comes from loving what you have and learning what works for you over time. You can't rush it. And I say that because I used to sit on the other side of this screen and I used to watch people share their makeup collections or their makeup bags or their minimalism journey or their closet tour. And I used to long for the contentment that they had. And I used to think that the key was having those specific things. It wasn't always the most conscious, on the surface logic. It wasn't like I was always aware that I was thinking that. But deep down, that's what I felt. And that's why I would leave those videos and go and try to purchase those things. But in wrestling this all out with God, I realized that He has contentment for me right here. No purchase necessary. When it comes to beauty and these non-essential aspects of life, in my there's a hummingbird outside the window. Guys, it's so pretty. I feel so loved by God. That was cool. When it comes to non-essential things, in my experience, I find that there is nothing that I can purchase that can make me feel better about myself, that would make me stop wanting. Contentment doesn't work like that. Desire doesn't work like that. Purchasing things in the way that I was only made me want to purchase more. So I encourage you to just stop and wait a moment. Live with what you have for a while. And maybe it's not makeup. Maybe it's another area of your life where you find yourself just constantly wanting, constantly in a state of envy, maybe comparing what you have to what other people have. No matter where the discontent is, take it from me, the best thing you can do is to just be in your own life, to use what you have and keep your eyes focused there on all the good that is already in your life. And to be honest, that makes everything more fun. For me, not constantly being in the cycle of wanting makeup and buying makeup and wanting makeup and buying makeup has actually restored to me the joy of using makeup. So that's all I've got to say. If this video stirred up feelings of want for you, I encourage you to just take a step back and be in your own life for a bit before you make any purchases. And you just might find that everything that you need is already available to you. Didn't expect that one to get so deep, but the longer I live, the more that I realize that the practical is the spiritual. The things that we have our hands in the day-to-day is the most reflective of our inner state. And sometimes getting into the practical stuff and tending to those things and healing those things can really make the biggest difference in our spirits and our inner worlds. So yeah, that's all for now. See you next time.